off in the future, saying, there it is again, the invisible hand of the marketplace is giving us the finger. Now, if that's our attitude going forward, we aren't going to change our reality. Part of what we do in economic development is we change the things that we can change. We keep a forward look at all times because we're in the game for the long run, and we aren't going to take those attitudes. But we do have challenges. The challenge is here. The light red line is per capita income in Ohio. The darker red line is per capita income in the Cleveland-Akron metro area. And the dark blue line is per capita income in the United States as a whole. We are falling behind. What's interesting is to notice that the 3C plus D corridor has been keeping pace with their peer metro areas. The real economic development challenge in our state is what's happening in the small to mid-sized metro areas, particularly those that have lost their historic legacy product and the economic future of Appalachia. So that as we're dealing with economic development, we're dealing with economic development across the state, we have to make certain that those long-run investments in education, in talent, in sites, in operating costs are worked out outside the 3C plus D corridor because that's where the numbers are coming down from. Inner city Ohio, Appalachia, and the Mansfield, Springfield, Limas of this world, which have lost their historic product, we have to figure out how they get to reload. And they're only going to reload through product innovation. Now, why is job growth going to be so slow over the next few years? There are 5 big forces. One is the tyranny of the product cycle. In a state with old products grow slow and they don't bounce back quickly. So we've got an unbalanced product portfolio that's weighted towards older products. So we really need, as a state, to continue this huge push for innovation. Yes, this is going to be a pitch. We absolutely need the third frontier going forward, but more than that, we also need to continue the great culture change that's been underway in the state in terms of people engaging in risk-taking. We realize that a life in a big company is no more secure than in any other place in the economy, and those of you in the public sector realize that hasn't been too secure either lately. 2, creative destruction is going to continue during the recovery. There are going to be fewer recalls. Job growth is going to come from job creation, not revitalization. In the U.S. and Ohio, capital investment is the job creation driver. What happens is, as people lay off, they wait to the very end before they absolutely have to hire somebody before they hire somebody. Then they rework their process, whether it's a call center or a check processing facility or a manufacturing plant. Then they order the new plant and equipment, and then they bring in the people that match the demands of that plant and equipment. The semi-skilled worker that lost their job may not get recalled because they don't have the skills for what the new plant and it's going to be dictated by the new plant and equipment. Productivity growth, better, faster, smarter, fewer, cheaper. Productivity has grown through this recession. It is absolutely unbelievable, so that means during the recovery, productivity is going to continue to grow by applying cutting-edge technology, by better management, and by using global supply and customer chains well. It means an inward-looking view of how we do our business will hurt us. 4, legacy work rules, practices, and cost uncertainty. Those places with stifling work rules are going to die. There's still large parts of the income statements of companies where costs are uncertain. Healthcare, torts, mandates, energy costs. If you've got large parts of your balance sheet where you can't predict where the costs are going to be, you're going to be reluctant to hire. And that's what's happened in this economy. And we have to be honest about the fact that we had 3 large employers with failed business strategies. Ford, GM, Chrysler, and their evil progeny, Delphi and Visteon, all designed to bankrupt. They employ so many people in the state. When they don't perform, the state as a whole doesn't perform. And of course, they aren't going to be adding new employees going forward. So what explains the performance of this market area of Ohio? The first is changing economic advantage. Yes, this is Pope John Paul. He dies. He goes to heaven. The angel Gabriel greets him at the gates of heaven with a box of wings. And Gabriel says, we designed them here, but labor is cheaper in hell. Things change over time. Second, low rates of entrepreneurship, innovation and entrepreneurship. By the way, the level of business formation in the United States during this recession has been at historic lows. But part of what we have to see is whether the entrepreneurial instinct is going to be part of the new Ohio. Here we've got the Indianapolis 500 of companies where the announcer says, ladies and gentlemen, start your companies. The reason why I think this is important is because as smart as I think I am, and I'm delusional, none of us know who the winning company is going to be. No one can look into the heart of an entrepreneur to see who wants to just control a lifestyle firm versus someone who wants to grow a globally competitive company. We only win in a large state with a large number of starts. And then the other fact that's going to hurt this region, the state, are failed corporate strategies and old products. He's got a bunch of fat cat CEOs hanging around in the club, and one of them said, "Oh, sure, I exploited, but I never outsourced." Well, shame on him, because if he didn't outsource, it means he doesn't know how to use the globe for competitive advantage. Inward-looking companies will also die. And finally, we have to change place-based legacy costs. Here's the caveman who invented fire. He goes to the patent attorney and says, great little product, but liability, it could eat you up. So we have to figure out how to make innovation work. So what are the threats and strategies, threats and challenges to Ohio?